Hello, everyone. Or, that was the wrong thing to say. That's not how I don't start that here. What the fuck is up, everybody? That's better. I'm back. The last video I uploaded was a interesting one, scripted thing here, talking to the camera, which is a bit different than, me sitting here talking and not editing it and stuff like that, which I'm not sure, I talked about it in the last scripted video. The content here is just going to be whatever the fuck. I have no point with a lot of this stuff usually. I guess I shouldn't say point. But it's just I'm just doing this this is fun for me, right? To kind of get on here and make videos and stuff. So moving forward, there might be more editing. There's going to be different types of videos. I have some ideas for some short skits and stuff as well. So yeah, looking forward to doing that kind of stuff. But today's video is going to be more like the other videos of me sitting here talking to the camera, but I actually have a topic, and it's something that I've been putting some thought into lately. And it has a lot to do with where I've been at for the last week or two surrounding the thoughts of my divorce, because about a week and a half ago was 1 year since I've been divorced. If anybody out there didn't know I was divorced, I've been divorced for over a year now. A little over a year now. I'm gonna take a sip of tea real quick. I've been holding that mug in my hand for a second, and I just want to put it down. I wanted to take a sip and then get back to yapping. So I went on a ecstatic dance retreat, and when I came back, it was a couple of days until 1 year since my divorce, and I've been hit with a lot of emotions, and it's been making me kind of unpack and process a lot of things surrounding my view of love, romance, and relationships, which is probably what I'm going to title this video. So I wanted to come here and I wanted to talk a little bit about my perspective on these things and just where I've been at, where I've kind of arrived at right now in this moment in my life, where I'm at with these sorts of things. And also, to preface before diving into any of that, this is just my opinion and my personal feelings on these topics, and I don't expect that everyone or anyone would feel the same way necessarily about these things, because the way that I feel about these things is very different from the societal norms, and that's the thing that I think is becoming most evident to me, and I've been working through a lot of heavy emotions surrounding it, because I was married, and for a very long time I wanted to be married. I had this idealistic view of being married, having a wife and kids, and living in this thing, the dream or whatever, living the dream. But once I actually was in a partnership like that, and and I'd watched a lot of people who had been dating, and when I was in high school and college and stuff, and then when I finally had my shot, and I was like, I want to make this work. I want, and I pushed and I pushed and I pushed, and we ended up getting married. And then, a lot of stuff in retrospect realized, a lot of it was rushed. A lot of it was, trying to fix a relationship that was already kind of rocky, things like that. And going back and looking at all of that and being able to see it see it in hindsight has made me realize, this idea of a relationship, getting married, having kids, all of that stuff was very much it was pushed into my psyche, into my mind while I was growing up from society, that's the norm. You can only have a monogamous marriage and relationship. And I had already known that before getting married, that I was open to, multiple partners, loving more than one person. And I had told my ex that I'm polyamorous. That was the view that I had at that time. And I have since arrived at kind of maybe a different view, where it's still kind of could be considered polyamory. I suppose I would align it more with relationship anarchy, or just kind of doing whatever the fuck. Because like that's kind of where I just like arrived at after, you know, it was 5.5 years. It was my first relationship, and I did learn a lot from it. And that's what I'm trying to do now, is like, you know, not rush into a new relationship, not try to like fill this void of physical intimacy and, you know, like wanting somebody to be there when I'm really anxious and I feel really alone. Like, yeah, that does suck, but I don't want to rush into a void to fill that void, because rushing was, in hindsight, in retrospect, rushing was what caused a lot of damage to my previous relationship. And so I definitely want to take more time and learn more about myself and what I actually truly want from a relationship. Because like dating and having like a girlfriend, boyfriend, partner, maybe that's not exactly what I wanted, and maybe I only really thought that. And I think I shouldn't say maybe. I think I only really thought that. I'm pretty sure, because now I'm looking at it and I'm just like, that's not what I necessarily want. I want to have things be more fluid, and, you know, while I'm not saying I wouldn't commit to somebody, I don't think the labels need to exist for commitment to be believable. And I think that the labels, and this again, all personal opinions, I think a lot of labels are put on relationships out of fear that if I don't have this label, then they're going to leave me, out of fear. And that's very obviously valid fear in some situations or whatever, but I also think it's something that is like, for me, I feel like I'm still stuck in this, you know, monogamous mindset in some ways, where it's like, oh, you have to have a dating partner, blah 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 blah, and you like, you know, there's no platonic romance or platonic love. It doesn't include intimacy in a lot of these relationships and a lot of partnerships, which I am starting to understand is what I actually wanted, was like just physical, very light physical, not like sex, not like, you know, getting down, fucking tossing salads and shit like that. I just want to cuddle and hug and give little forehead and cheek kisses or whatever, because that is love. That is like sweet and like just cute to me. And like all the other, like, you know, sex is great, obviously, but it's not the only way of like expression or form of physical love out there. And they've been I feel like it's been very conflated, that like you can only cuddle and kiss and do this stuff with, you know, your sexual partner, you know, your whoever you're dating. But I know that platonic love and like just kissing friends and stuff, like, it exists, and maybe it's just a very Western idea. I don't know. Like, I don't know if this is something that exists in other countries and stuff. Like, you know, I'm American, so it is, you know, like there are certain aspects that like might only exist because of where I'm at and how I was raised, you know. And I realized a lot of it was media too. It's not just like growing up with, you know, around people who believe in all of these things, but growing up in a society where movies like American Pie are like the biggest movies of my when I was a teenager. That was the movie I remember everybody would watch, and that fucking, the plot of that movie is a bunch of high schoolers vow that they're gonna get fucked by the time they graduate. So that's kind of like, you know, you get this thing, and it's even earlier than that, you know. There's like what is it Animal House, whatever, all these old like movies, like they have the idea that getting, like, you know, partying, getting fucked and whatever, like that's like the, like, and even like, you know, kind of like maybe some of my family members were very much like that, and kind of had that idea around. So it was everywhere. And so now I'm realizing, like, no, that's not what I wanted. And there's a lot more that ties into this, where I also have had an experience, which I'll probably make a video about in a little while as well, that really showed me that, like, my lack of being held or I think like cared for as much, like, as a child, has really in my adulthood made me crave that. I really want to just be held, to just have someone hold me and cuddle me. And, you know, a year ago I was married, or not a year ago, well, technically I was still married a year ago, but we'd been separate, whatever. So a year ago I was married, and when I was married, you know, every day I would wake up and I would have, you know, my wife next to me, and I would be able to like lean over and give her a hug and a kiss and everything like that. And now I don't have that, and I think I just really miss that, just being able to show someone love and care for them in that way. And I know I also, there was aspects of the relationship where that didn't happen, and that's why I'm not rushing into anything too soon, because I'm like, you know, I gotta take care of some shit here. So there's a lot going on up in my head around this, surrounding these topics: love, romance, relationships. I just wanted to kind of make a little video about it, talking about it, see if anybody has any ideas or opinions that they'd like to share about it. Because I know that how I feel about this, like not putting labels on things, being more casual, realizing that love is infinite and can be shared among many partners, and not rely, and like the other thing is too, is not thinking that one relationship has to be the relationship forever, because I think that that puts a lot of stress and strain, and you know, and you don't have to live with somebody the entire time you're like partnered. I think that that's something that's been very, I don't know when that started necessarily, but I think it's we should rely more on community in child raising and stuff. Like there's a lot more that goes into this that I could talk about. I just wanted to kind of yap a little bit about this and get some of these out there, some of these ideas, because if there's maybe something that I could talk more about, if somebody wants to hear it, or maybe a comment and like, hey, maybe I'll just dive deeper into the fact that I think that communities and raising children is a better idea than just having two parents in one household, and it should, you know, we should rely more on community and like our neighbors and stuff for as a resource in all parts of our life. Honestly, that's a whole other topic. Like now I'm getting into a whole other topic. So to end my whole yapping here, morning yap session, and I'll take a breather and a sip of tea. So we're gonna take a step back, because I realize I'm getting pretty excited on this topic. Take a step back. Deep breath, take a sip of tea. All right. So to end things, talking about love, relationships, romance, is where I've kind of arrived is that what I'm currently looking for is not to date anybody. I don't know if dating in the modern sense, or in any sense maybe, is what I want. I think I just want to be able to express love. Or no, I know I want to be able to express love, and I want to express it through very, you know, just cuddling, kissing, hugs. And I want to be able to do that with my friends who are comfortable with that, which I'm finding there's actually people who do understand platonic intimacy and love and stuff like that. And that's really fucking cool. So that's what I'm going to leave here with today. And I'll just say that if I upload this today, it should be PokeMonday, and you can catch me on Twitch at twitch.tv/Kaiwin. We'll be playing Pokemon Platinum. And other than that, goodbye! Peace out, bitches!